Hey guys, this is John with CheatSheetPros.com. Today's Thursday, November 9th. I had some downtime at work, so as always, you'll see me post some of these screenshots on the good, the bad, the ugly, because we want to see what's working, what's not working, and we're going to take a look at yesterday because we had a 14-game slate, so we have a lot of data to look at. Most NBA teams have 5 or 6 games under their belt, some 7. But this is starting to get our model in a really good spot where we can start looking at it. So new this year, we added this scoreboard tab to show the edges. So we have 2 different models. We have the cheat sheet line, which is the one we've used for years. And then we have the power rankings, which I tweaked out our power rankings and I'm trying to keep them consistent among all of the sports. And they just calculate a spread for the side so we can kind of take a look at both of them. So the power ranks, I don't use a ton, but looking at them, they were 8 and 5 for 62%. And then you can kind of see how they did here. And I will print this in a PDF so you can look at it if you want to play with it in our group. What I'm going to focus on over here is this cheat sheet line. So we are going to look at a couple different things. So how you interpret this or read this is you just focus on this edge column. So if the edge for a side is negative, then that means there's a difference between our line and the Vegas line, and it's the negative. I kind of kept it. That's the favorite. That's who we're in favor of. That's where the edge is. For the total, if it's a positive number, our model has it going over. If it's a negative number, our model has it going under. So for example, we're going to look at this Spurs game so I can kind of show you, if you're looking through one of these sheets for the current day, you can tell what's going on. So, for example, Vegas has Knicks minus 10. We have Knicks minus 12.5. 12.4, you can round that up. So you see our edge here is 2.4 points. So that means our model says this spread should be closer to 12.5. Vegas, you're getting it at 10. So that is an advantage. So that ended up being a winner. Now, Vegas projected this score about 117 to 107. We projected it 119 to 107. So when we come over here, let me find the Knicks game. Here it is right here. It ended up 126 to 105. So they end up winning by 21 points. So we would look at that and say, hey, CheatSheetPros model has a 2.5 point edge. So I'm going to take the Knicks minus the 10. They covered that. They won that. So that's how we calculate a winner. As far as the total, just look at these 2 numbers right here. Vegas has it at 223.5. We have it at 225.9, saying, hey, this is going to be 2.4 points over. So we would come over here, we would look at it and say, okay, 126, 105, that's 231 points. That is over the 223, so we were closer, so that would be a winner. So that's how you get the winners, and of course, everybody knows what a loss is. And so you can kind of scroll down here and see through these games, I calculated every game, the side and the total, and the win, the loss, and I put it in here in this nice green and red so it's real easy to see. And you'll notice on the sheet today, I kicked out these 3 columns and I added the ATS record and then also the over-under record. And then for some reason, I just wanted to put points per game last 3 in there because I like betting overs. So overall, this was 19 and 8, so it hit 70% of them. If you just blindly went in there and said, hey, anything with an edge, I'm going to bet it, you would have hit 19 out of 27 of the bets. So that's pretty good. However, let's take a look at a few things that we could change. So overall, we had a 19 and 8 run, which was a 70% hit rate on a 40-game slate, and that's blind. That's not looking at lineups. That's not doing any research. That's just like my wife walking in here and throwing darts. If she just picked this up and said, okay, I'm going to bet everything with an edge, she would have had a good night. There's good nights, there's bad nights. But what I noticed that I want to go into a little further, our totals were only 7 and 7, so we were 500. So not terrible, but that's not great. We want to find something with more of an edge. Our sides went 12 and 1. So if you faded all the totals and went the sides, you hit 12 out of the 13 games. So that's ridiculous, but I also understand that's unsustainable. That's not going to happen. So typically what we're trying to hit is about 60%. 55 to 60 is where the profitable people sit. So I'm not putting this up here saying, hey, we're going to hit 70% every day. No, we have good days. We have bad days just like everybody else. But I noticed on some of these totals, like I don't like unders. Unders are the one bet that you cannot win until that game is over and everything can possibly go wrong to screw you. Now, football's a different story. Basketball, things change, things go up and down. I typically try not to bet unders. So let's just say we fade unders. If the model says this game's going to be under, we don't care how many points it's going to be under, we are not going to touch it. That's going to be my motto. Also, 2 of these losses, if you scroll down here and you look at the edge, one of them was 0.3 points. So that's not even an edge of a half a point. So that's saying that's really close to what Vegas has. And then here was a loss at 0.2 points. That's not even a quarter of a point. That's really close to Vegas. So let's put a parameter of a point or a half a point. For this example, I'm just going to say, a half a point we want to see of an edge, and we only want overs. Now, if you go down here and you look and say, okay, we're going to fade the unders, and if it is an over, I want at least by a half a point. If it's less than a half a point, F it, we're throwing it out. So right here, we would get a loss. That would be 0-1. This one is an under, so we're going to fade it. Here's an over that wins. Now we're 1-1. Here's an over that wins, 2-1. Here is a 0.3, so this is less than half a point, too close. We're going to fade it, so we're still 2-1. And then here's an over that won, 3-1. Over that won, 4-1. Here's an over that lost, 4-2. Here's an over that won, 5-2. 6-2. Again, 0.2 points is a fade. Also, it's an under. That's a fade, so we're still at 6-2. Over that won, 7-2. Again, this is favored an under. We're going to kick it out. And then this is an over that lost. So that's going to put us, if we fade all unders, and then it has to have at least a half a point edge, that flips it up from 7-7 to 7-3. So that might be something to look at to be more profitable. Now, what's awesome is if you take all the sides and our fade rules, fading the under and the half a point, you could have looked at this and narrowed it down to a 19-4 run. So that's something that I'm going to track going forward. Now, I don't have time to do it every day. This is not a full-time job for me. So a lot of people ask me questions like, what's your record over the last 36 months? I have no idea. We do fantasy sports, we do player props, we do sports betting. So I'm just trying to put together information to help you guys out. And then when I get time, I'm going to go back, kind of look at it, do some research and see what's working, what's not working. Maybe we need to tweak the model. Maybe it's a crazy year. The majority of these games yesterday, most of them went over. But the sides we ended up doing really good on. Again, not a ton of information, so I didn't expect to see anything above like 55%. So on a 14-game slate, that was pretty good. So something we can definitely watch for. And again, this is not meant to come in and just bet blindly every single edge. It's to help you find the games that you can research and look into a little bit more. For example, if you are going to make a play on the Clippers and Paul George is out, Westbrook's out, Harden's out, Kawhi's out, you might want to reconsider what the model is saying, because if those guys were in all of the other games, that's where the stats are coming from, and now suddenly they're out, so you have to take that into consideration. But overall, if you went blindly, we were 19-8, a 70% hit rate on a single day. That's really good. Sides, 12-1, phenomenal. I was happy to see that. And then also digging into the totals at 7-7, not terrible, not great. You would have lost juice. But if you fade off the edge in less than a half a point, takes you to 17-3. And if you do that, mix it with the sides, it would have got you to 19-4, which would have been a ridiculous run, especially if you're like Ben and we put all those in a 23-leg round robin and we did legs of 15, you would have hit a few of those, and that would have been pretty sick. Anyways, good luck, guys. We'll have more information, and let's go win some money.